In this lesson, we are going to take a look at the object mode and the components mode. These are the things you need to understand in Maya before you start modeling, not just in Maya, in 3D as a whole. You need to understand all this before you start modeling. The object mode is different from the components mode. When we talk about the object mode, we are talking about the main shape, and when we talk about the component mode, we are talking about the things that makes up that particular shape. I'm going to make use of a sphere as an example here, not a cube or a torus or anything else. When you look at this sphere, you can see that currently we can't do anything like select any part of this sphere. And why? That is because we are in the object mode. Object mode in Maya enables you to work with the object itself. Now, this object is broken down into three components, three individual components, and we will get into that for a moment. If you are in the component mode, you will be able to select everything you have here on your sphere. Now, let me really explain this to you. When you look at this sphere, you can see that we have different lines. Now, you also refer to those lines as edges. You can see that we have different lines, different sections, and so on. Now, all these sections, you can select all these sections individually, and there are some you still not seen, which is also known as the vertex. Now, all these are what make up this object. Now, putting all together, you are going to get this sphere. Now, from the object mode, you can do things like going into the smooth preview when you hit on 3 on your keyboard, and when you hit on 1, you go back into the normal mode. This is just what you can do with the object mode. There is nothing much. From the object mode. You can just move all your shape instead of moving them individually. Now, when we talk about the component mode are the parts of your sphere that actually makes up the sphere, and we have different component mode, and it's mainly three, which is known as the vertex, the edge, and the face. Now, on this sphere we have here, we have that three component on this sphere, and these components are the things that make up this sphere. So let's take a look at that. Before we go into it, let me really show you. Let me zoom in closely so that you can see. Now, the points where four lines join together are referred to as vertex, and all these lines you are seeing here are referred to as edges, and this face in between these four lines, it's referred to as face. Now, these are the things that makes up a shape in Maya. Now, if you want to start modeling, you are going to make use of all these components to manipulate your shape to give you what you want. So let's take a look at how all these components look like. So the first thing we would do is to go into the vertex mode. From here, I'm going to be making use of the shortcuts, but I really want to show you that quickly. When you look at this part here, we have the vertex mode, and here we have the when you look at this part here, you can see that we have the vertex mode. You can see that we have a wide line here, and the points here are highlighted in orange, telling us that this is vertex mode. And coming over to the next one, this is known as the edge mode, and here this is the face mode, and this is all the components together. But we're not going to take a look at this, so we're just going to take a look at these three. So keep in mind, these are what they are for, but I'm going to be making use of the marquee menu here. So let's say we want to go into the face mode. How do we go into the face mode, or how do we select the individual faces of this sphere? Now, to do that, you want to right click, and when you right click and hold down, you are going to get this marquee menu giving you different options. But what you just need from here as a new modeler in Maya is just the face, the vertex, and the edge. So when you go into the face mode, you can now see that when I hover my mouse on this shape, you can see that it is highlighting each and every one of these faces on red. That is it. So now, how do you select this? You just need to left click on any area. Now you can see that the pivot is no longer in the middle of our sphere. It is just in the middle of this particular face. We can see that when we select this face, the pivot it's no longer in the middle of the object. It is now in the middle of this particular face we selected. Now pay close attention to this. You can see that this is not selecting these lines, which is the edge, and it is not selecting this point, which is the vertex. It is selecting inside the vertex and the edges, which is letting us know that we are selecting only this face. So from here now, if you want to move this face, you can just move the face anyhow you want. It is only going to affect that particular side of this sphere you have in your scene. Now, if you want to select an edge mode, you can just come over to this part here and select the edge, or you can just right click and select edge. So from here, you can select any lines you want to select from here, as long as you are in the edge mode. And when you go into the vertex mode, you can just select any vertex from here and manipulate them the way you want to manipulate them. So let's just say we want to do something weird from here. We can just select this, push it inward, and select this, push it inward, select this, push it inward. Now we can see we go into the face mode, select this, bring this out, go into the edge mode, select this, and we decide to slide this edge to this part here. Select this edge and we decide to slide it to this part here. So let's click on. Now you can see we've made something stupid, but this is just how you can use the components to manipulate the object you have in your scene. And this is what we are going to be doing throughout of this course, using the component modes to manipulate the object we have in our scene for us to create a model. So take out your time, practice, understand the component mode, know the difference between the vertex, know the difference between the vertex, the edge mode, and the face mode. In the next lesson, we are going to start taking a look at some advanced things which you can need when you start modeling, like the self-selections and the symmetry. I'm going to see you guys in the next lesson.